Okay, I'm a little bit scared about this one, not gonna lie. Reacting to your Total Drama hot takes. So I put out a post that says, okay guys, this post is available until Thursday evening. Feel free to share this post around. In fact, it would help if you did. I'll be reacting to your hot takes for a video, so write down something below. You guys delivered with 34 comments here. Some of them are mine, so I'm gonna be honest. Probably. And yes, I did like my own post. Ignore that. Okay, here we go. Let's just make me a little bit bigger, so a little bit bigger on your screen, and okay. Oh, that's good. Okay. So, by Storm as Tom's husband, Tyler is praised a lot for not doing much. He was filler in Season 1, and although he was a good character, he got love out of nowhere. In Season 3, he came back and was Alejandro's punching bag. It felt like a nothing character until his very obvious elimination. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna agree with that one. So, this seems a little bit harsher than I've heard other people say for it, but yeah, I think a lot of people can agree Tyler didn't do much, and he is praised a lot for it, but I think he was more praised for it after World Tour because they had openly said that, you know, he wasn't getting much love from the fans. And so that's why they kind of decided to give him that. And yes, Tyler doesn't do much, but for when he does it, when he is in the game, when you can talk to him and see him, that sort of thing. Okay. I just said talk to him and see him. He's not a real person. But when he's on the screen, he's pretty funny. Okay, we got one reply here. Blame the shit writing. Tyler was supposed to be Alejandro's Lindsay and get the rub from his girl to carry on, but of course the worst character, Duncan, had to ruin that. Okay. So yeah, Tyler, this isn't really a hot take other than the whole, you know, is it put in harsher wording than other people do put in. He didn't do much, essentially. Total Drama would have been way better if it parodied high school dramas instead of a reality show, because let's be real, the appeal of a reality shows is if your faves go far, but in a high school drama example, Degrassi, every character would get time to shine and most satisfying arcs and endings. By Dylan Johnson 3346. Okay, let's talk about this. So I can totally see that happening. I don't know. I feel like if it was done, then who would do Total Drama? I know that's a weird sentence, but Total Drama was made specifically to parody Survivor and other shows like that. So it does sound like a fun concept, and to be honest, I would pay to see that, but however, it's just not what Total Drama was meant to be in the first place. It is a great idea, but it's not what it's meant to be in the first place. A lot of Pakatu cast wasn't conceptually doomed, with a few exceptions, even if they are less team stereotypes and could have worked if accompanied with less eccentric personalities. By Rasmus VJS. That's the main hot take. The rest of this comment is me explaining why I will hold that opinion. Okay, let's hear you out. Leonard and Baby Sugar are the only characters I can't imagine working at all. Okay. Sky Dave, if his incel angel was if his incel angle was handled better or dropped, like kind of a, you know, Ezekiel stopped being sexist because he realized that was stupid, and Cody, you know, stopped being creepy to Gwen, but Dave went the opposite route. Okay. And Jasmine all have downplayed relatable personalities to offset the eccentric ones. That is true. Usually in Total Drama, every character is like slightly crazy with the exception of a character like Trent. Okay, Island Trent. I'm talking about Island Trent, guys. We don't mention action. However, that does make sense because characters like Izzy are only supposed to be like 1 or 2 a season, you know? Not Pahkitew Island. Pahkitew Island was if you took a bunch of Izzy characters with a few that aren't Izzy, and I don't know. Sky and Dave, if his incel angle was handled better, dropped. Yeah, I agree with that. That seems good. Jasmine, yeah, Jasmine's definitely a more human character in this, despite her being really tall and really strong. We always have strong characters, like Eva, for instance. That's unrealistic, but it makes sense for a universe. Okay. Just checking to see that I pressed the recording button and not the streaming button. They're right next to each other. One time I accidentally started streaming, and then I had to rip the VOD because it was like an hour-long video or something. Anyway, yippee! Oh, I forgot to ask. Please subscribe. If we get to, okay, if we get to 150 subscribers... Oh, okay, I gotta say this. I'll be singing a world tour song of your guys' choice. Okay, and at 200 subscribers, there's a Q&A. Let's quickly get to that Q&A, because I don't want to sing the Total Drama World Tour songs, I'm gonna be honest, because it's gonna take me long enough to try to find a karaoke track, I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, also, if you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll be able to see my community posts in which you can vote on the next video. Yippee! Because I'm your favorite and literally only Total Drama VTuber. Anyway. Okay, Beardo could be a fun early boot, particularly if they delved into his shy side. I disagree with that. I think that if they kept Beardo on, then he would be more relatable. If they gave him more stuff, then he'd be more human and relatable because, you know, he's got the problems talking to other people, socializing problems. And that's kind of his issue in general. So we need to get that back. Okay. Max is legitimately funny at times, and Scarlet would be a cool, subtle antagonist, or even a likable pragmatist. Okay, I'm gonna quickly look up what that means, I'm gonna be honest. Okay. A person who is guided more by practical considerations than by ideals. Okay, that makes sense, that's all good, yeah. I like it. Even if she didn't have her evil villain moment, I can agree. I'm going to give you a little hint for my fan season. I chose to use Scarlet in my fan season, and I legitimately think that I used her better than Total Drama did. Fight me, Total Drama creators. In fact, you know what? Read my script, buddy boys. Make it yourself. I spent all this time on it. All you guys gotta do is write dialogue. Anyway, they're never gonna see this, so that's why I'm saying all that. Okay, yeah, they're not gonna see this. Okay, let's see. Rodney could be a fusion of Okay, with the Max thing, I kind of I agree with that, but I feel like it'd be funnier to boot him off first and have him climb back like in an Ezekiel situation, but not like in an Ezekiel situation, you know? It'd be funny if he tried to make his way back onto the island to be like, I'm not finished with you, evil, you know, that sort of thing. I tried to do a Max there, but to be honest, I don't remember what his voice sounds like completely. Let's see. Rodney could be a fusion of DJ and Ezekiel as a rural, gentle giant if they removed or downplayed his crushes on everyone angle. Good point. Good point. I completely agree with that. That makes total sense. Topher has an interesting side plot that involves Chris into the drama and an easy to dislike attitude. I don't know. I know a lot of people that really like Topher. I'm not sure why, to be honest. I never really found him that great. I mean, he's a good player and his plot is like interesting, but I never really found it too funny. I don't know. That might just be a me issue. I might be a little biased on that one. I honestly think I probably am, so I'm gonna admit I'm probably biased. Ella is a pretty likable character even when in drama with other contestants. Yeah, Ella's a crazy character with some special powers such as Dawn, but, you know, having that character in the season isn't too bad. Having just one of those isn't too bad. Okay? And Amy and Sammy could have worked better if Amy wasn't solely focused on abusing Amy wasn't solely focused on abusing Sammy, and the campers surrounding them had more normal responses to that happening. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that Amy should... I don't know. I think Amy should go the Taylor Redonkulous race route, I'm gonna be honest. I think that's the type of girl that she actually is. If they showed more of her like that, that'd be pretty good. So I completely agree. I think Sammy should have probably gone farther in the season, as they kind of booed her out right as she was getting development. Let's say it. Let's be real here, okay, guys? Sammy didn't even really get the development. Sammy didn't get it. She was just sent home. She was like, okay, maybe I can stand up for myself now. And then they booted her out, threw her back to the dogs, which is this... They threw her to the wolves there. They threw her back onto the island with her sister. And their parents. That... Off the island is not the place where Sammy... Sammy, I'm so sorry, Sammy. I mean, Sammy, that's not a place where Sammy wants to be. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, 1000% agreed, especially the twins. Yes, I can completely agree with that. I think that you need to replace some characters in Pahkitew Island and definitely downplay all that sort of stuff. Characters being too crazy is... It's not total drama enough. I know that, you know, people say, this stuff like, this isn't Minecraft enough when a new Minecraft update comes out just because it's a new update and it changes something. But in this case, I can agree, this is not total drama enough. The teen stereotypes, it would even work in the way that you're describing. I can see people being like this. So... And if this was how you portrayed it, then I think it would be smaller ideas for the characters. But other than that, like, it'd be smaller, like, you'd rarely find these people, but you still find them. Fan-made series are much better than canon because they are more free to explore topics not controlled by network, more grounded, and characters are more in-depth instead of goofy one-note acts. Characters are more relatable on a deeper level. The only canon seasons I have out ranking A fan seasons are Revenge, Redonkulous, the reboot, and the rematch, barely, by Dylan Johnson. Okay, so there's a reason why fan seasons exist. It's because the fans made them. The actual people, they wrote what they already wrote, and the fans are writing something different than what they already wrote. If the fans wrote in the first place, then if the writers and the fans were switched, then the fans would be writing their thing, and the writers would write something different. Okay? If the roles were switched, they would just write the opposite thing. And yes, we can explore more topics because We're not forced into a certain amount of episodes. We're not forced into a certain amount of characters. We're not forced into anything by the network. And that is completely true. We're more grounded. However, I've seen a lot of good seasons, okay? I have seen some Total Drama fan comics, though, that have scarred me. I'm not even gonna name names right now, because there's this one comic that was, it was okay, but it got really weird really quick, and then oh man, I was just disturbed while I was reading it, I'm gonna be honest. It just, okay. I think that this does help. Yes, fan-made seasons are great, but I prefer canon, because canon ships are better than regular ships. I'm gonna be honest. That's the only thing that I can say to like describe this, because things that are canon are simply the original, and then we are creating our own version of it. And I'm not saying that that's bad. I think that's great, but nothing's better than the thing that actually was animated fully by professionals, you know? But if you guys like fan-made series, then, you know, subscribe, because I'm going to set a goal eventually of when I'm going to do my fan season. I think I'm gonna wait for a very high subscriber count for that one, though, because I've not wrote the actual, like, dialogue yet. I've written everything other than that, and I haven't had much time to get on the dialogue. Dylan Johnson again. Courtney deserves so much better from the writers. They purposely made her the bad guy to make Duncan look good, even though he's hurt her so many times. I know she's no angel, but look at how much shit she gets on the show, while Duncan can do whatever and no one bats an eye. Yeah. They really villainized the women in this show. In the love triangle especially, they made it clear that in World Tour that they decided Duncan wasn't the bad guy. It is either Gwen or Courtney's fault. It's one of their faults, not Duncan's. And then they tried to make up for that in All Stars. They tried to make Courtney especially seem better, and they ruined Gwen's character to try to make Gwen feel sorry for... Oh god, it was a shit show. Let's be honest, this love triangle thing, it's... Oh my gosh, you know what? I'd prefer it if just Gwen stayed with Trent, if they got back together. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really a Gwen shipper, but if I had to ship Gwen with anyone, it'd probably be Trent. I don't know, I feel like if Trent got his act together, started taking his, if he started taking his pills or whatever, I'm one of those people who has a headcanon that Trent just stopped taking his pills in action, and that's what caused him to get all weird. Also, he definitely has OCD, we can tell that. It would be so much better. He could apologize, he could be a better person. Duncan and Courtney, I don't know, I feel like that could work. But they're so toxic for each other, but it's like a hot toxic. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but in the first season, they were good. They were simple. Then the next season, they got into the hot toxic range, and then it got a little weird after that. So Duncan, sorry, I got off topic, but yeah, Duncan gets too much love, despite him not being... The creator's favorite character is Noah, and the team's favorite character is Owen. So, like, why is he getting so much love, you know? I know he's gotta go far in every season, but, like, good, because he's a good player, but good lord, guys, come on. he was so misogynist. You guys are. I hated the creators after, I started getting back into total drama, and I looked at it and I saw how sexist Duncan is compared to Ezekiel, and it pisses me off to. Oh my god, it pisses me off so much. But anyway, let's move on. Dylan Johnson again. Ezekiel, Harold, Noah, and Tyler are the best males from the OG cast, not counting Alejandro. Now, it depends on the season, because Tyler's definitely not one of the best males. I'm gonna be honest, he doesn't get enough screen time to be one of the best males. Ezekiel's okay, but I wouldn't say that he's one of the best. The only way we can tell he's the best is from, outside sources and just, extra information we got on him. The stuff that we got in the series wasn't enough, I'm gonna be honest. Harold is definitely one of the best males. I can't disagree with that. Noah's good. He's very good in World Tour, but, Island sucked, yeah. I'd have to put Duncan on that list if we're counting Island, because in Island he was great. The rest of the seasons, not so much. Owen, I know that you don't like Dylan Johnson. If you're watching this, I know you don't like Owen, but I think Owen is a very lovable big guy. He's the comedy relief character that this series just kind of needs. I'm thinking of other characters that were on the DJ. DJ is also one of the best males that could take this place. But yeah, I don't think Tyler and Ezekiel would be on the list. And you already know. You already know that I love these characters. You've seen my top 10 characters, okay? You know that they're on the list. But I don't think they are, the best. I think that it's kind of my bias, because I just like them. Lightning, okay, Dark Knight. Lightning is the canon winner of Revenge of the Island, IMO. For one, he doesn't seem to have changed at all between Revenge of the Island and All-Stars, even though he was devastated at the thought of his dad losing his championship rings. Also, when Cameron is eliminated in All-Stars, he is sent home in a bubble, despite Scott not getting one when he suffers similar injuries in Revenge of the Island. So, Chris doesn't have bubbles on him for contestants. If Cameron won, he wouldn't have his bubble with him. People will hate me for this, but the evidence says otherwise. And the response is, as a person who cares about logic, you are absolutely making great points, but my bias is Brick's line faction school, here I come. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, I want Cameron to win purely for Brick. I don't care about Cameron. I want Brick to win by doing this. However, I think it makes more sense in the winning thing for Lightning to strike Lightning. He falls over, the suit falls on him, instead of, the suit falls over first and then Lightning falls over. I don't know. And I agree with all the stuff you're saying, because it does seem about right, but I don't know. I feel like Lightning wouldn't be the type to brood over this. If his father kind of disowned him for that or whatever, I don't think he would even bat an eye. Plus, I don't think they would be able to say anything about that. So they had to keep them both. They had to keep them both in the situation where they couldn't do it. Also, Gwen says, how they get to the finals? Which seems more like a, he got into finals, but he didn't win. Not how did he win this season, But otherwise, yeah, all your points make sense. I'm gonna be honest, all your points make sense, so I agree, but I disagree. Okay, Dylan Johnson again. Whew, we got a lot of those. If the network made them break up the couples from season 1, there's no excuse for a horrible rating. That's on Tom and Jen, so it's a 50-50 blame. No matter how much a network wants something changed, it's on you as a writer to write it at least somewhat decent. Okay, I'm gonna have to disagree with that one, because this seemed like a very forced writing decision, and I'm gonna be honest. They wanted to break up. What? I think it was like Duncan and Courtney, and then Gwen and Trent. The Trent thing seemed so forced, probably because it was a situation where people couldn't find any reason that either of them would break up. They were perfect. They were so perfect that they had to invent a new Trent just so they would break up. And I'm not a fan of that, I'm gonna be honest, but it makes sense. That they didn't really get a choice in the matter, and this was probably a decision where they just couldn't figure it out. I'd feel sorry for them if I was on the team. I would have trouble figuring out a way to break them up. I'm gonna be honest. Meanwhile, for Courtney and Duncan, yeah, they were gonna break up eventually. We all knew it was coming. It was just like they did some weird stuff there, that's for sure. Noah and Tyler are not... Okay, same guy. Oh, just bumped to my microphone. Noah and Tyler are not overrated, not even close. We are all just understand their potential and that the show failed them out of favoritism, but just actively made this season World Tour worse. Okay, yeah. That one's gotta be true. That one's not quite a hot take. These are some crazy hot takes in here with some of these, and then the other ones are kind of basic. But then again, overrated is for characters that... Overrated is for what was already done with characters in the show. So, yeah, they are a little bit overrated. I don't think Tyler's overrated, because I don't think he has as many fans as Noah does. But Noah fans are, like, putting him in, like, S+ tier best character in the series type thing. And I think he's, like, A tier. He's a solid character. He's a really good character. But he's not, like, you know, the best character in the series. Those characters are usually the ones who are most fleshed out and are usually the main characters. Okay, Amy is the worst written character. Her story could have been so powerful if given proper time and writing a mean girl archetype with childhood trauma leading her to be an asshole to her sister. There's so many different theories I've seen of the twins' backstory and so many paths they could have explored. If they had more time, if they had more episodes, yes. Just yes. I don't think I need to say much else, just yes. They should have done something more with Amy. Just she had like an okay amount of potential. Okay, Gwen's diary. Gwen gets too much blame for the love triangle. Like, I get it. She's the reason for Trent's elimination in season 2, and she didn't back away from the kiss in season 3. But Duncan and Courtney were toxic. Just like Trent and Gwen. It was never official that they, as in Duncan and Courtney, got back together. Duncan had always flirted with girls, calling them hot, sweetheart, etc. That's because he's sexist, guys. And Courtney would constantly try and change Duncan in episode 14 or World Tour, had him pulled out a list of just a few things to change about him. The list had 47 things. With that being said, Gwen is still in the wrong for not telling Courtney, even if they weren't together, but Court and Gwen at the time were just friends to a certain extent, and Gwen knew how Courtney felt about Duncan. Example, she said she misses him in one of her confessionals in episode 10 of World Tour, and All-Stars while Gwen was trying to fix her past relationship with Courtney. Oh man, this is a long one. Duncan was doing everything in his power to make Courtney jealous. Example, before him and Gwen broke up, he had kissed her on the cheek and then asked if Courtney saw it. On the topic of Gwen had said in a confessional in World Tour that, and I quote, "I kissed her boyfriend, I'm a horrible person," showing that she was sad and felt bad about it. But in All-Stars, while falling out of the plane, she had said, I quote, "She wasn't her boyfriend at the time." I guess I should talk about Trent a little as well, because I talked about everyone else. He had been a decent boyfriend on the island, but when action came, he became very obsessive over Gwen and Duncan's relationship. He also had a superstition with the number 9, and after they broke up, he started to act very cocky and acting like he didn't care at all. An example of this was in the aftermath when he was talking about how much fan mail and girls were talking to him. I know he's not really in the love triangle, but he's still something to mention. Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned him. Sum that all up, no one is the full blame, as the love triangle was everyone's fault, not just one person. I'm not saying that someone should get more blame than the other either. I wrote this stuff at like 12 a.m., so that's why it's a little sloppy. Okay, I accept that. That was a lot of stuff, but I think most people can agree, and I'm going to say my little hot take on this thing. So, yes, everyone is to blame, but the person who has the most blame put on, the person who deserves the most blame on them is Duncan. He is the person in both situations here. He is the person who technically went around to both these girls and did this. So I'm not so happy with him and the stuff that he's did. I'm not a fan of the love triangle. I think he was the main person in the wrong here. The other two did horrible stuff, don't get me wrong, but yeah, Gwen gets too much blame for the love triangle. In the series, yes, it's funny and all, yeah, haha, very funny. Oh man, she's the boyfriend killer, she's the new Heather, oh my gosh. But outside of series, guys, why are we bullying Gwen here? Come on. Okay, Dylan Johnson, the season can be mid with poor writing and still be enjoyable. Example, the rematch is so weird. I love this season 1, it's really funny. 6 of my top 8 make final 8, but the writing is just so bad in some areas. I'm gonna be honest. Oh, now I remember what he said with the rematch was. Okay. The rematch was the reboot. Okay. It did have poor writing and it was still enjoyable. And I don't think that's... I think that's lucky. They were very lucky with that one. The writing wasn't too bad, though. So it's not like Pakato Island level, you know? Let's see. Gwen's Diary, Mal isn't the worst villain. Yeah, the button was the stupidest thing ever, but Mal had good gameplay and manipulation skills. It got to be genuine. It's gotta be genuine, not made up. I know it's just something I came up to cause a controversy at like 12 a.m. Ooh, good thinking. Aw, you guys thought I wouldn't read the comments, huh? You guys thought I wouldn't read the comments. Aw, you tried to get me there. You tried to get me there, eh? Okay. Yeah, he's not the worst villain, though. Because we have Sugar, so it doesn't matter. But the button was stupid. He did not have good gameplay or manipulation skills for most of it, but he did have some good moments. I just wish that he was better at playing it off. I know they were trying to, in the later seasons, they were trying to make it more obvious when some character was lying, because they like tried to make him be like, oh no, I just did something. Oh, my bad. But that wasn't really good. However, I don't think he's the worst villain ever. I think that goes to Sugar, who is just trying to be a villain, but not even a villain, and they needed her to be a villain, and it didn't work out. Okay, Dylan Johnson. Scott is better for Courtney than Duncan. Courtney and Duncan never liked each other. They like the idea of each other changing, whereas Scott and Courtney like and accept each other the way they are. Side note, Tyler is a better man than Duncan will ever be because of his loyalty to his girl. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Sadly, according to the writers, apparently Tyler and Lindsay broke up. From what I heard, I'm not sure if this part is canon, but I heard that apparently Lindsay did something that accidentally burned his house down. Which is very Lindsay, but at the same time, yikes. Okay, so I completely agree with you. I think that even though I personally really like the idea of Dunkney, I think Scott and Courtney are a healthier couple, as unlike where Duncan likes to be bossed around, but only to a certain point, and then he snaps. Scott was bossed around to a comfortable position for him, and he's pretty fine with that. He was very chill with that idea, and so I do agree with you. Scott is better for Courtney. They work really well off each other as well, and Scott is just Duncan 2.0 in that way. Okay, Redonkulus has the best cat. OG has a lot of derailments, flanderizations, annoying and wasted characters. Revenge, love them, but they kinda mid. Pakateo, yeah. Reboot, the second season wasted a few that should have shined this season, i.e. Axel, Damien, Raj, and Flopshell. Heck, even MK to an extent, as she was just Julia's second in command. I disagree with the MK. I think MK did a lot. Raj got his stuff in season 1 and season 2, so I think he's fine. Axel, yeah, Axel's too much of a side character. I think they need to put something for in season 3. Damien deserves to win this season, but he's gotten enough screen time in both things. I'm starting to, like, if they keep on going with, like, this specific cast, and it's just, like, they don't let him win, then he just straight up doesn't deserve to win, because he's gotten so much screen time, and yet he still doesn't win. What are you guys doing? It's like he's screen hogging from other people while still, like, not winning, which sucks, because he deserves to win, but he doesn't deserve to screen hog for this entire time. Flopshell, yeah. Nichelle is... Yeah, Nichelle needs something. So, Redonkulus Race has the best cast. I disagree. I personally like the first season's cast first. But a lot of this, from what you're saying, is more writing perspective. Redonkulus Race, I will admit, has a extremely solid cast, though, especially since they got to go out of age 16 archetypes and go into multiple age archetypes, multiple people that work off of each other, and it was great. Okay, Bowie is better than Heather, and Alejandro is... Okay. Hold on, we might have found it. Bowie is better than Heather and Alejandro. His game was strategic, actually good strategic, and didn't need to fake his social game with meaningful bonds. Okay then. Oh, hold up. Let him cook. Okay. You might have... You made a good point there, actually. He did actually have genuine bonds with people. Heather started to get genuine bonds with people in the later seasons, which is why we like her so much in, like, World Tour. Because she actually started to have kind of genuine bonds. Not completely. She still kept her distance, but she was starting to... You know, it was interesting. Okay. I don't know. I think Alejandro was better. I really think... I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to move on. You've given me food for thought, but I don't think I can take the bait here. Chase and Emma are made for each other because they both suck. I'm not even joking. Yeah. I don't like either of them. I know disliking Emma is kind of weird, but at the same time, I don't know. I've never liked Emma for, like, no reason. I don't know why I don't like her. But, I don't think they should ever get together. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's funny, but, like, no, that'd just make this season worse. I need to preference this by saying I love the woman, she's a gem and the best canon character, but Heather is a mediocre player at best. Her island game is horrible and she's openly mean and does stuff like read Gwen's diary and the Trent kiss before even gang immunity, actively hurting her. Already bad standing. She learned from her mistakes kind of in World Tour, but not enough to actually call her a good player. And I put, yeah, she had some plot armor and some good ideas in the middle. In World Tour, I think she definitely played it better. She definitely made more stuff, but in Island, she definitely is a mediocre player. She actually kind of did pretty great in action, too, because she was actually trying, you know? But she was also being herself because she kind of didn't really care. Lightning Round Island, one of the worst structured seasons. God damn. Action, they set Justin up. They set Justin up to fail. I'm sorry, but he's the only villain I'm going to. But if he's the only villain, I'm going to take him serious. If they want him to be a goober, they need Courtney in there from the start. Yes, absolutely. Island, one of the worst structured seasons. I don't completely agree, but you know, it makes sense. World Tour, we only like Cody going that far because it's someone different. Let's be real, Homeboy did nothing. I disagree. Okay, okay, Cody, and I think I did put this in the comments. To be honest, they didn't let Cody do anything. They held him back from development. Sierra forced that on him because Sierra didn't let him develop as a character. This was completely Sierra's fault. Do not blame Cody for that. I've been seeing so many people blaming Cody for being carried. He was actually carried, but held at gunpoint when carried. He didn't get a chance but to get to the final 3, you know? He floated, but he did try his best that season. He was actually doing really well in most of the challenges that I got into. But, and let's be honest, the only reason he got eliminated in Island is because of 1, plot armor, and 2, he got mauled by a bear. But they were like, the fact that they just said, hey, you know, he's not helping us that much in challenges was stupid, because you could have just said, oh, we're medically evacuating him or whatever. Anyway. Revenge, the best structured season, eliminations, placements, pacing, writing, character usage were all top-notch. Okay, now that's a hot take, but I think that makes a fair amount of sense. All-Stars, I wouldn't hate Mal as much if not for going after Courtney. Season was actually decent up until Regatta became me. Misuse Heather being an idiot in the egg episode. Yeah, true. Pacateo, Beardo is a gen. You know, Beardo, they could have done something with Beardo. Redonkulous race, Dawn is better than Kurt. Oh, no, don't you, no. Okay, that's the hot take of the video right here. Reboot, this is Ripper's best season. Nah, okay, you know what? Yeah. I like him in both seasons, I'm gonna be honest. I like Ripper a lot, actually. Rematch. Okay, the rematch is the second season. I got that wrong. Julia simultaneously made this season by being a girl boss queen best character, and also ruined this season by making everyone look like chumps. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you're a villain. Yeah. It just, you know, you gotta keep them in some way, and while also letting the audience know who the villain is, you know? But other than that, that is all of our Total Drama hot takes. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great night, day, whatever time it is for you, and go out, compliment someone's hair today. Tell them, hey, I like this about your hair, and spread a little positivity. Bye-bye.